And hello, we are back with, after a few days here of the Olympic trials happening. We wanted to get this recap out there earlier, but, just everyone's busy, things to do, and also just kind of taking it all in, what happened this,
Had a long 10 days of trials, and we need to digest it.
Yeah, exactly. So, we're going to go over our favorite moments from the meet, things that... I'll go over the list right now. Hold on a second. So the list is that's the wrong one. The list is the most surprising performances, the most courageous, our favorite, people that just squeaked by, the athletes that just made our jaws drop with amazing things, our personal favorite races, which could be any race from the first round to anything else, NBC Television Coverage, the DQs, physical contact, advancements of races, people in the races, how the U.S. trials compared to other countries, and lastly, which athletes we're most excited for to see the games. So, we'll get right into it. Is there anything else to add beforehand?
No, it's just good.
I mean, the trials were just an incredible meet, and the first thing that we knew was going to happen, there were going to be some surprises out there.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to do the women and the men, or should the men and the women?
Yeah, we pick our choices.
All right, so, so let's up with the men first. The most surprising performances of the meet. And for me, what was most surprising for the men would have to be... seeing the WCAP runners, come out and really make a statement. Dan Brown did an incredible job, and really just, I don't think anyone expected that to happen, right? I mean, everyone just kind of saw them. I mean, we've had WCAP athletes in the past, but none that, they went 3 for 3 basically, right? Or was it 4 for 4?
4 for 4, yeah.
4 for 4, yeah. So
was it Chalimo, Hillary Bohr, Shadrach Career?
Leonard Career and
Leonard
Shadrach Cheer.
Yeah, but then they had a race walk.
Yeah, they had the 20K race walk winner.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh,
so
wow.
they got 5.
Wow,
it's
yeah,
kind of
so
insane.
it's pretty crazy.
Get that man a bonus.
Yeah, right? All right, how about you guys? Men's most surprising performances?
Most surprising, actually, in more of a negative aspect, I was just really surprised watching that 10K race unfold. Just the way Galen set the pace from the gun, and just how quickly people were just falling apart afterwards. And at first he took off, nobody responded to him, they let him go. Then when they brought him back in and he made another move, Shadrach, Cheer, a lot of guys, Bernard went with them, and then we saw in the last 3K, everybody was just falling apart. They were falling to the ground, dropping out, and it was just really surprising to see a lot of guys I listed as favorites to make the team end up, getting to third place and then, sitting on the side of the track afterwards. So
yeah.
That was really a surprising race for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I was also surprised by just Galen's tactic. I don't think anyone expected him
to be aggressive
aggressive like that after a cane in the race, if that,
Yeah.
So
I mean, I guess based off his marathon training, that suits him a little bit more, especially
not only that,
feet training.
And the 5K, what he tried to do in the last 1,000 meters of the 5, I think.
Last mile, really, I think, right?
Yeah, essentially. I mean, the guy was clearly trying to draw the kick out of everybody else. I think that was pretty telling, and that he didn't quite have the speed that Ben Ben True or Hassan or Chalimo or any of those guys. I don't think. I think he kind of knew already that I have all this marathon training under me. Maybe the strategy should not be to wait. It should just be to drag it out.
Yeah.
Because they won't be able to handle it. And it definitely was successful in the 10,000 in those really, really terrible conditions. But in the 5K, I mean, you can't quite run away from anybody.
It's very difficult.
I mean, you saw two guys that didn't have the standard try to do it, and it didn't work. And then Galen even tried to do it, a guy who's seemingly invincible, and he got run down like nothing. So, yeah.
What was your most surprising moment then for the men, you think?
I mean, I'd say before, I think Charles Jock for me. If you had to look at that list of
800
if
guys.
If you look at the list of Olympians in general, Charles Jacques, everybody kind of like tilt their head. And that's not
it's not a knock on him.
And
Yeah,
it's not a knock on him. The guy obviously is really talented. He ran 1:44.7 in college, and he had a rough few years, but
he made the
he
world
was
team
persistent
5 years ago.
You know, and Ben to an extent somewhat as a surprise, kind of, but I think for those two especially, it's kind of just a testament to them sticking it out. And I think for them, and for people that are, kind of wondering like whether they should keep doing it, if you're looking for a little ray of light, and then things haven't been quite going your way, you don't have to look much further than Ben and Charles. I mean, they're in a state where there's how many teams out there? 3 or 4 teams now. They seem to be popping up every month, and it's competitive. Like it's the way it was when I was in college. You know, if you're not doing well, it's really overwhelming. I think if you had all this promise and you're not quite fulfilling it as quickly as everybody expected you to, and it takes a couple of Olympic cycles for you to finally realize your potential.
Yeah.
I think that's just, those two guys are a huge testament to what it's like when you stick it out, what it's like when you make the positive changes you need to make in your own life, and I think they take complete ownership of that.
Very few people stick it out. They'll get to that point where they stagnate,
because this is a country.
Leave the sport.
It's a country where you can do anything else that you want to do. You don't have to do this. People choose to do this, and people choose to kind of like live on the fringe to an extent. And I don't know what their situations were, but they could have easily mailed it in and just be like, no, I don't fucking do this. Like, screw it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Charles Jacques is an Olympian.
Yeah.
To me, that is surprising.
Yeah.
But in the most positive way I could have ever imagined it.
Yeah.
I don't think he could have gone to a better guy. I mean, like I said, I think he's a really, really wonderful person. The same as pretty much everybody that I see on that list. They're great, and it just makes me smile every time I look at it. I can look at that list and be like, it's Charles.
Great. Yeah.
It's Charles. It's CJ.
Yeah.
He belongs in the Olympic team. It's great.
Yeah. All right. For the women, most surprising performances. For me, that has to go to Amanda Eccleston. She really surprised the hell out of me. I really had no idea who she was, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I've seen her at races before, see her do well, some the name out there, but I just wasn't familiar with her at all. And seeing her lead that first round in the women's 15, from gun to finish pretty much, and I was like, wow, what an impressive run. She got there, she got done, didn't let it dawdle, and she qualified. And the semi, I didn't expect her to make it to the final, and again, she ran an incredible race, very composed, and made it in to the final. And I personally thought, like, wow, she just definitely gassed herself out. She just ran 2 of the most amazing races she'd ever done, and there's no way she's going to be close to making this team in the 15. But holy hell, she came on strong. If Brenda hadn't looked over her shoulder right as Amanda came by, Amanda would be an Olympian right now, which has to be heartbreaking. But Amanda has to know. You have to know if you're watching that it's incredible what she did here. Very surprising. And I think we'll see more of her for sure in the future.
For me, I guess I shouldn't be too surprised, but I was surprised, like, looking at the aftermath of the women's Bowerman team. They went 6 for 6 with their Olympians, 4 for 4 in this race for the women, and they just came out and they were ready to become Olympians.
7 for 7 actually, because you count Betsy Sena.
That's right.
Betsy, okay, you're right.
And I think what's most shocking about that too is they were basically all injured in March. From what I
when
mean?
they came out here to flag, a lot of them were hurt. Yeah,
they were ready to run. I told this to a few people, maybe in one of the other broadcasts, but before, train with Shalane Flanagan and you're going to become an Olympian. That's basically the moral of the story. She makes her training partners into solid gold.
I haven't reaped the benefits of it yet.
No.
Yeah, Shalane.
Maybe one day.
Shalane just left the group I was in when I joined Cook's group.
Oh,
Shalane just left, so I just missed out on that extra little bit of thing I could have learned. But
she's intelligent too, and it's kind of nice when you have you're essentially all a bunch of newcomers within the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And you have that person to look up to, who's essentially been a childhood hero for, I don't know, someone's big sister, 5 some of these big sisters like 5 years older than her.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like for Shelby, her older sister Shayla probably looked up to
Shalane.
yeah, and
exactly.
probably just missed her in terms of getting into college and stuff.
Mhm.
And it's like, holy crap! Like now we're teammates, and she believes in me. Like why wouldn't I believe in me? You know, It's kinda
Absolutely.
that. I would say that's probably one of the bigger surprises for me too, along with Eccleston. I honestly though, I don't think in Amanda's case, I feel like if I were to ask her, is this incredibly surprising for you? I think she would have the same answer that Scott Fauble did when he placed fourth in 10,000, where it seems like it seems like a surprise to a bunch of people
That are outside of it.
Right.
Right.
that are outside of the bubble. But you know, I think for her and her support crew, I'm sure that the week of they're just like, you're just gonna rip everybody a new asshole. It's freaking ridiculous. Like
That's true. I mean,
and
the coaches see the workouts.
she essentially made mincemeat of everybody except for 3 people.
Yeah.
You know, an entire field, that many of
All
which
through the rounds as well.
yeah, like I'm saying, it's crazy because, and that's like kind of a crappy part is that like.
It's the
You had
second
so
deepest.
little-
It's the second deepest event for women in distance.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
say 800 is 1st,
Mhm.
15 is next for sure.
Yeah, and like
And-
you said, it's like who would have heard of them? Like who would have? You didn't know very much about them before,
Mhm.
but she knows herself. She probably
Yeah.
knew what she was capable of doing, just like Scott Fauble did, and they're like, yeah, just everybody else can go screw themselves. Like I already know what I'm capable
Yeah.
of doing.
Yeah. Very true. Very
But
true.
yeah, but for me though, going back to the Bowerman girls, them upstaging arguably one of the best male distance groups in the land, they upstaged, like they embarrassed their male counterparts.
Yeah. The men only got
And that's not, I mean, like I said, I'm not saying the Bowerman team sucks at all, like at all. I have a deep respect for Jerry Schumacher
They work so hard,
and that
yeah.
group and how hard they work. But the facts are facts. Like that group upstaged every other group, male or female.
Yeah, they did.
So-
they won the trials.
Yeah,
For
I mean,
sure.
it's much like the Bowerman group, like their own people, but like they embarrassed everybody.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll never. I don't know that you're ever gonna see
that kind of.
dominance
Yeah.
from one team
Yeah.
at a place. It's not like it's an NCAA championship where anything else can kind of happen. You can count on like other people. I don't know, like where you just have so much dominance at other events that your team sort of just gets elevated, even if you don't have the greatest performance. Like they sent a distance team, to the trials, and every single one of them essentially scored 10 points.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's freaking
It's
crazy.
pretty incredible. Also, quick shout out to Eric Finan, who's watching the feed, and
Yeah.
he had his own little input for most surprising. He says our friend Craig Angles
Yeah.
was most surprising, which also, yeah, I would agree. I was critical of his racing strategy
Pretty
and
much
technique,
the whole time.
but pretty much the whole time. But
He
he
performed.
performed.
Yeah.
He got it done. I mean, all of the 800 team, almost with the 15 team.
Mhm.
Here's a guy who, again, relatively unheard of. He comes out here with a stash and a mullet
Yeah.
and just
He's
comes to work.
He's got a fan group, and I saw some
Yeah, I was
pictures
just
that
reading
everybody
it.
was dressing up in like fake mustaches, fake mullets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
I
stands.
was reading that Let's Run thing. He brought like did he buy like a caravan or something, or
Oh,
like a
no.
1992
Oh, wow.
Dodge Caravan? He either bought it and brought it to
Mhm.
Eugene, or he bought it in Eugene
There.
and was driving it back to Ole Miss or something. Which is pretty.
Wow.
It's,
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know what you call that. Is that blue collar? It's kind of blue collar. That's like a blank. That's what Blankenship would do.
Yeah. 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 So that's pretty definitely impressive from Craig Angles, and thanks for the shout, Eric. 815 double was definitely crazy. Let's see what was next on our list. Oh yeah, most courageous runs. They're the most bravest people that did something that was incredible. Men first. I'll let you go first because I know who you're gonna pick as a local.
Yeah, I mean, I actually...
I can talk about it, yeah.
I hadn't really thought about that at all. I was trying to think of the most courageous for the men, and a lot of them did run strong, run red. Like, I totally respected Rupp for taking the lead in the 10K as early as he did. But yeah, a lot of the men, they were out there to compete. But I actually wanted to say the guys in the 1500 on that last day, Jordan McNamara and I'm blanking on their names.
McNamara, Isaiah
Yorks and
Eric Avila.
Just like going for that standard, just trying to trade off leads, even though the guys with the standard were trying to do whatever they can to slow them down. But yeah, just having the courage to go for it in the final when they know they're probably setting themselves up to get run down.
I mean, you still believe, right? I know you still believe I can do it, but you also know it's a disadvantage for sure.
I mean, you wouldn't have gotten into the final if you didn't believe you could.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, yeah, I totally agree. That's a very courageous run by J-Mac, Yorks, and Avila. Who, by the way, Avila and Yorks, like really came on the stage, especially Avila. He broke 4 minutes for the first time a couple years ago.
He was hurt. He was out here with Team Run Eugene and Flagstaff, and he was hurt. We were supposed to do a bunch of workouts together, and I only ended up doing that stuff with Eric Finan and Kremsky and Dan Quigley. And I always just heard that he was hurt, or that he wasn't going to join us this morning because he was hurt. His Achilles and everything, because he did some, photo shoot with Hoka, and he got hurt. He tripped or something and fell down a cliff or whatever.
I don't really know.
But, but I mean, you're right. It's like, he's coming on. I didn't expect this because of what I've known about him getting hurt.
And again, for guys that are relatively unknown, to take the lead and go for it like that, pretty brave, I'll say, for sure.
Finan and Quigley told me, this guy's last 100 or last quarter is
ridiculous.
It's just, he kind of just
turns it on.
He just flips a switch, goes with a reckless abandon, doesn't care, and just obliterates himself over 100 meters.
Yeah, I'd say bravest run for me, and Finan agrees here, was Brian Schrader in that 10K.
Yeah,
the 5.
Or 5.
Or was it the 5? Sorry, not the 10, the 5. Didn't have the standard. Just eked in to get to the final. Mm-hmm. And after a slow first K, he said, you know what? Forget this. I'm going for it. Him and Kincaid separated. And I guess we should give it to Kincaid as well for going with him.
Right.
And trading the lead. As we later found out, they were trading the lead a little bit. And, trying to make that break, because, again, no point in, running the final if you want the standard and you're not going to go for it, Because you're running for, not for the Olympics, you're running just for yourself, or for the race itself.
For me, unfortunately, I love Schrader, and, I gave him a lot of credit for going to the lead and trying to set that pace. After a 3:05 first K, he needs to run American record pace in order to set that standard. So it was definitely...
Maybe a little too late.
Even at 1K in, it's too late. But it definitely was a great run. Mm-hmm. Great attempt at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would have been 62s for that?
62s from the rest of it, yeah.
That would have been hard, let's see, what did you say, most courageous?
Yeah, most courageous for the men.
I would probably agree. For me, it's probably a tie between Schrader and Rupp. Because I think for Galen... given the marathon training he was doing, I think he found he got a newfound strength that he probably didn't have before. He got a little more of an idea of what it's like to really grind out a pace and kind of just wilt your competitors down. And I give him credit for being courageous enough to understand that he probably couldn't kick a 52, so he tried to drag it out of them. He tried to make them show their cards with a K to go. And I thought that was really awesome. I thought that was super cool. Because I don't really see him do it. I used to see him do it in college. He'd go with 1,200 meters to go.
That's right.
But that was against the NCAA, which is not as strong. Well, at the time, it wasn't as strong. Now kids are... I don't even get it. But, But then Schrader, of course, I think... I'll make it a three-way tie for Fauble, too, in the 10K. But for Schrader, just... It was a little overzealous to run a 59, but you know what? He threw down a 59 in the middle of a 5,000. That takes balls for anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. I think that's just that's an unbearable pace, and if you survive that, then by all means you have my respect. And then for Fauble, just grading out a 10K, that guy, for me, I feel I didn't even have to ask him about how he felt his chances were. You can, run with the guy, and you already knew that he believed in himself. And And I think he knew, and he's smart enough to understand from his own training, like, what he's capable of doing. And, you know, I think he just kind of matter-of-factly decided, like, well, I guess I should make the team based off of what I've done, and just matter-of-factly, like, believed it, you know? He wasn't questioning, like, whether he even had the right to think that way, which some people do, I think. He just believed it, and those are the types of performances that are going to get you fourth at the trials.
Yeah.
And for him, it's not going to be as good. It's not even good enough.
Yeah.
Which is admirable. But yeah, I mean, this is his first year as a pro. That's crazy.
Yeah, lots of improvement up ahead. Pretty impressive for sure. The women's most courageous performances. Man, I have like 5 of them I want to talk about, but I'll start with. I would say, for me, I'm gonna have to say. Stephanie Garcia, man.
Oh, yeah.
In that steeplechase, Emma made the move, a hard move. And even though it looked pretty even-keeled, I mean, the pack separated immediately. And Stephanie went with her. And she just wanted to grind and stick and stick and stick. And she did until that last lap when she started to hurt and the other girls were coming on. And eventually she got caught and passed in the last hurdle and everything. But you could see how badly she wanted it from like 3 laps out.
Yeah.
You know, just head down, body turning red, you know, looking up the screen, looking up ahead. And that was a very brave run by Stephanie. And, you know, if she had run for third, if she'd stuck back with Colleen and the other girls,
yeah, she probably
could have made it, you know. But she wanted to stick with Emma, even though even though it was crazy fast and difficult. And yeah, it was tough to see her fade in the end there, but that's the rest of the sport. But hats off to Stephanie, because that was definitely some courage that last few laps there. You could tell she was hurting, but damn did she grind it out. Yeah.
For me, courageous run. I'm actually stuck between 2.
Say one, and then if we miss the other one, then we'll
No. I mean, I'm going to say both.
Okay.
But both super courageous. Brenda Martinez, Amanda Eccleston. Amanda ran line for the 1500 team, and then Brenda having to go through the heartbreak through the 800s, and then coming back and resetting her mind, her focus to get back. And I don't know. Just watching her, I was just like, oh my gosh, she's like getting jostled up so much in that 15.
That's right. She almost went down so many times.
Yes. So it was really what stood out to me, like being like she had such composure, and like I was expecting her to make the team in the 800. After she missed it, I expected her to make the team in the 15. But even so, like watching it was gut wrenching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Danny? Female courageous performance of the meets.
It's probably gonna be a tie for me between Brenda Martinez and that 15, especially coming back from the 800.
Yeah.
I mean, you're essentially coming back from devastation in the 800.
Yeah.
And that is hard to handle, but it just sounds like, you know, it was just sort of like another bump at the road. And, you know, we all grew up around the same area. We know kind of what it's like around that LA area, and it's not easy. And I think she's more refined because of that. And I think that if you look back on it, and you look back on like certain childhood experiences, finishing a race outside of the top 3 is probably not the worst experience you're gonna have. You know?
Yeah.
And I think she kind of was like, well, like I already know I'm better than this, so let's figure it out for the next one. Like she didn't feel sorry for herself. Mm-hmm. She's just like, here we go, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you know to even have that kind of fight in the last like 20 meters of the 1500, you know, to make the team, like that was tough. That's really tough. You don't really find those kind of reserves all the time, especially in the 1500 where you're already redlining, you know.
Yeah.
And then the next one would probably be the 2 steeplechase, second and third, Courtney Frerichs and Colleen Quigley. I think
they battled back, man.
Yeah, I think Courtney Frerichs was already like almost out of the, like from what I was watching, she was pretty much like almost out of the screen when Emma made that move and Stephanie went with, and then Leah started going backwards, and then people started catching each other and whatnot, and like how often is it in the last 800 when you're seemingly out of it? To everybody else, you're out of it.
Yeah.
You don't believe that you're out of it.
Yeah. When
you essentially tell yourself, nope, I'm not getting fucking fourth today. Like, let's go. And just...
Well, the two
last
of them...
100 meters. Like, essentially, right? I mean, she blew by her right before the last barrier, then goes by her teammate, ends up getting second when she was probably going to get fifth.
Yeah.
In most people's minds, but except for her own. And that was... How much guts do you think it takes to think that way?
Yeah.
In the middle where you think, where most people think it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You can find a million excuses in the last 800 meters if you're in fifth by, 4 or 5 seconds to mail it in, and then maybe end up getting sixth. How often is it that you decide that you're going to go get second?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a beautiful thing to see that these two teammates were basically fighting for the third spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because at the time, Stephanie was so far away, you think they're not going to get her, But these two athletes are fighting for the same spot, and despite being teammates, pushed each other to the point where one of them got second even. Yeah. And so, that's like just pure guts between the two of you, like not backing down.
The culmination of Leah and Stephanie coming back to you. You're not only catching up to Colleen to an extent, but you're going to already pass Stephanie. Like, that's already enough. You're essentially, I feel like at some point she was like, I might actually run hard enough to where Colleen will get into second and maybe I can snip third.
Yeah.
And that's two of us. That's worth chasing. Like, that's more than worth chasing.
Yeah. Definitely.
And I think that, like I said, it's like, it's the thought process to me. I think, like I said, when you're down, like, I don't know how many seconds. I thought she was out of the picture already. In, like, fifth with 800 meters to go, I feel like normal people would just mail it in.
Yeah.
And maybe get sixth and then just be like, no, I didn't have it.
Yeah.
Like, they don't normally think, like, oh, I'm still in this. I can probably get third. Like, I don't, and that's why she's on the team. And that's why I'm definitely not. So.
All right. So, our favorite, like, athletes just squeaked by, and whether that could be first round, it could be squeaking by into the semi, into the final, whatever. So for the men, I'll have to say my favorite squeaked by moment was Don Cabral, man. Another guy in steeplechase who was a ways back.
Yeah,
he was ways back
at the second to last barrier.
Yeah, exactly, and just turned it on the last 200.
Yeah.
Ran with him today. Actually informed me that he actually was a little sick. I mean, he wasn't feeling ill during the trials, but the next day or two, he actually got I think a sore throat or some sort of, or even strep throat, and I mean, he probably was fighting that off a little bit.
Or he brought himself to that level.
Or just from summoning everything he can, just exactly. But that was an awesome moment to see him like come out of nowhere. And I always said that he looks better the more tired he gets. This is the one time where I was a little worried about him because he was a ways back.
Yeah.
But he managed to just squeak through and make that team, and that's absolutely incredible to see.
For me, it has to go to Charles Jock, who squeaked in by less than the 100th of a second. When he squeaked into the meet, he squeaked into the semis. I think he made the finals pretty all right, but then he had to come around from probably 6th in the last 100 meters in the final to make the team. But he's the guy who knocked Dwayne Solomon.
That's right.
Out of the first round
by 1,000th of a second.
Yes. So
true squeaking by. Yeah.
Yeah, he just squeaked right on in there.
Yeah.
Made his way. Now he's going to the Olympics.
Yeah, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I think for me it's the same. I mean, I think by most rights or pretty much most people's opinions, you wouldn't have pegged him to get out of the first round based on what he'd done the last 2 years or so. But that's why you run the races, right?
Yeah,
that's why you run rounds. That's why you lean. Why would you pull up? I don't. Especially, I mean, even if you're the favorite, even the favorites can get knocked out. A guy like Donovan Brazier, a guy like Dwayne Solomon,
Yeah, I mean,
their mistakes make ways they pave the path for guys like Charles to just get in there and then
take advantage,
show their actual potential in the final.
Yeah, I mean, everyone thought Donovan was a lock to make the team, right? 143.
Yeah, they're like, oh, he's gonna get a medal.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, he's not even gonna get. It's like it's the same. Was the field size essentially the same sort of like outrageousness, as it was in the 15? Like you just had to beat like a few guys to.
In the first
or
round,
was it a little more even? Like
it was a little more even. I think they
okay.
I forget. I think they only took 9 to the semis,
Well,
or 18 to the semis. Right?
Even so,
16. I think it's 8 and 8.
8 and 8. Okay.
So
I mean,
they went from 24 to 16.
I think it was
even
4 and 4.
Even so,
No.
Donovan can run like for some reason, guys like that should be able to run 146 relatively comfortably. And typically it's just kind of insane that.
No, they had a lot in the 800. It was like 30 something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they must have gone from like 36 to 24.
Oh.
So they had 3 rounds in the semis.
You should still, if you're one of the favorites, you got to run like a favorite.
Yeah, definitely.
And not take the stuff for granted.
Yeah.
And Charles reaped the benefits of that.
Yeah.
So, kudos to him.
Yeah, totally squeaked by.
For getting in there. Yeah, he just, like I said, it's like you only need a couple chances, and then he showed who he actually was in the final. So.
All right. So, women favorite squeaked by moments. For me, that's definitely got to go to Gabe Grunwald. And missing the 5, so you're in the 5K, first round, didn't make it out of the first round.
Right.
Just faded the last, lap or so. And it was like, oh no, what's going to happen? Is this over for her? But she came back in the 15, 2 hours later, and made it to the semi, looking pretty good. She actually looking pretty good. And then in the semi, just came out of nowhere. That last 100 meters.
Last. She had to
she had to have been last or close to it. Like we were joking that she wasn't even on the track when she made her move, and just right at the line, squeaked by to get into the final. Which obviously we know she wanted more. She wanted to make the team, but hats off to her. Accomplishment in itself, coming back from that 5K and running the final, and making it to the final. I mean, that's what 1, 2, 3, 4 races in like 3 days.
Right.
One of them being a 5K. So yeah, just that was a favorite moment for me, was seeing her come out of nowhere in the semi and just like, oh my god, that's Gabe, and just squeaking into the finals. So that was one of my favorite moments.
So for me, I'm going to have to say the most squeaked by in a different sense of squeaking by would have to go to Krishuna Williams in that 800. And actually Kate Grace as well. They had themselves in a position where they were unaffected.
They literally squeaked by.
They literally squeaked by Brenda and Alicia.
In the fall.
And everybody else who was caught up in that tanglement. And they had a free path in lane 1 all the way to the finish. And that enabled them to make the team, which Krishuna was right with that pack, so there's no knock.
Kind of on the back of the pack.
On the back of the pack. I mean, she might not have had that same wheels if lane didn't open up for her. Same with Kate, but at the same time, I mean, that's how some of these championship races are going to be run, with that close contact that we've talked about before. Just everybody's so close together. Falls are going to happen, and if you're in a bad position, then it might affect you more than somebody else. And for them, for Krishuna and for Kate, like they benefited from it. Crazy. Like Krishuna, she is more squeak by for me because I didn't even have her on my radar.
Yeah,
like when I saw her make the semis, I thought, oh, that's a great race for her to make the semis. Much less she then went on to the finals and then make the Olympic team. That's huge.
Yeah, definitely. How about you, Danny?
Probably Brenda again.
Brenda's gonna win every category here.
300.
She's gonna win every category.
300ths of a second for an Olympic team. That's fucking crazy.
How about let's say that Abby squeaked in?
Yeah, Abby squeaked in for sure. I mean, it's tough. So Abby D'Agostino in the 5K was 5th. She was 5th place, right? And to her benefit, Molly Huddle and Emily Infeld both decided to decline their spot in the 5K. And that enabled Abby to make the team.
Yeah.
And
I'll count that as an honorable mention.
Honorable mention. Okay, that's fair.
Honorable mention, yeah. But it's true, though. I mean, because how easy is it to be in 4th and 5th place, see the top 3 being settled, and be like, oh, no, that's it. And lay off or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure it happens.
Especially in a longer distance race, like 5K or 10K.
Yeah.
It's a lot more time to think like, oh, that's devastating. I gotta
Yeah.
fall back now
But
and
she
shut it
stayed
off.
strong and held on to that 5th spot and fought for it, and it paid off. So definite little squeak by award there for her too. Next up, we have our performances, the athletes that literally made our jaws drop. I was just like, whoa, what? I would say for me, the most jaw-dropping performance that I saw had to have been Clayton Murphy, man. Clayton Murphy in 800 really just, came from, trying to make the 15 team, trying to get the standard, just missed it, settled for the 800, and every race just looked incredible. First round looked incredible. Semi looked incredible. Final, just blowing people away. Really, just last 100, his strength is unparalleled right now in the 800 for U.S. athletes.
Yeah.
So, for me, that was definitely a big jaw-dropping moment. It was like, wow, yeah, Clayton Murphy has arrived. This kid is here. He's a real deal. I mean, he made the team last year, but I think his presence is now very well known, and he's going to be a future star for sure.
For me, I would have to go with Paul Chilimo. He made my jaw drop like with 250 to go in that 5K. He took off and opened up 20 meters in the span of 2 seconds on the entire pack, and these guys are kicking already at this point, and he just opened up like, oh my gosh, he's gone.
Yeah.
And he ended up squeaking by and making that into finishing 3rd place. He got passed by Bernard and Hassan going down the home stretch, but still it's so surprising to me, like, oh my gosh, I knew he was good. He made it into our 3K team. I knew he had a great kick, but I did not expect him to be that suddenly so far ahead of everybody going into the last 200 meters. So it was a great performance by him as well.
Yeah.
And just barely holding off
Jenkins,
yes.
Yeah.
Just barely.
Barely.
Yeah.
Another squeak by moment.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And for mine, it's gonna sound biased because it is biased. And I don't care. You guys can suck it. So, it's Centrowitz. That guy ran 334 low, walking away from everyone. Like it, and it's kind of like one of those moments. And are we doing male and female?
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, so I won't mention the one, but it's like he essentially, as soon as he takes over, as soon as he decides to take over a race, he immediately takes control of the race, and the ease in which he does it, it's mind blowing to me. I don't, and I've seen it for years, and it still just blows my mind every time. He just scuttles, dude.
It's
just scuttles.
He definitely
it's
has
nuts.
a different stride in a way. You know what I mean? If you
But
watch
it's
him when he's
just-
sprinting,
it's just
it's very powerful.
Yeah, it doesn't have
For
to.
sure.
It's not exaggerated.
Yeah.
It's not an exaggerated thing. It's pretty subtle, and I think that's what makes it all the more masterful and artful to me. Because Robbie's really, really fucking good.
Yeah.
And he stomped on him and maybe he just got the jump on him with 200 meters to go, but at the same time, I don't know how many times I've seen Central really run through the line when he's got a win sewn up. So I don't know, but that for me was just
definitely
334 and an All-American
53 last lap.
Yeah, and dude, that was a great race. I mean, it was set up really well by the guys and by J-Mac and Yorks and Eric and everybody, and I mean, Central is proving why he's a medal contender. For me, he's a gold medal favorite. I don't see it any other way. I know that Asbel is Asbel, but Camp did just get raided. So.
Yeah. Coach is arrested, charged with.
I mean, I don't know, and like I said, maybe it's biased because I'm super biased.
That's fair. You can say your biases.
Yeah, I'm not gonna apologize for rooting
These
for
are
my
Danny's
teammates.
picks, okay?
Yeah, I went to Oregon for all of you guys that don't know, but yeah, I just that even so, you guys can't deny that is just. That was an incredibly world-class time and in a really good field. And like I said, he just put on a clinic. That was insane to me.
Absolutely did. See, for the women jaw-dropping performances, I'm gonna probably steal this one. We may have multiple awards here,
Go
but
ahead.
Molly Huddle, man, Molly freaking Huddle, jaw-dropping watching her run that 10K,
In control every step of the way.
the 5K. She is so much better than everybody else right now. It is, again, mind blowing. Like you say about Centro. I think, last year she was very heartbroken she didn't get the bronze medal. Right?
Mm-hmm.
She let up on the line, was celebrating, and Emily got her, nipped her. And I've been saying for a long time that she shouldn't have been disappointed that she didn't get the bronze. She should be disappointed she didn't get the gold medal. I think she's that good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's easy to see the Africans and easy to see these other athletes and be like, oh, they're just so much better than me, or they can close so much faster that, I can't do it. But I remember watching that race and seeing her turn over the last 200 meters. She was going the same speed as those girls, maybe even a little bit faster with 200 meters to go. And I think she's one of the best runners in the world. Definitely.
Oh yeah,
and,
she's shown it on the roads in her performances for sure.
Yeah, and I am just am continually impressed by her performances. How much better she's getting every year. It's not like she just hit a level and just kind of stopped. She just every year is getting better and better, and can't wait to see what the future holds for her. So.
For me, I would say jaw dropping would be for Kate Grace, who definitely was fortunate that the fall happened, but I think she still would have made the team.
I think everybody
she ran
benefits
down
from this,
A.G.
sure.
Wilson, who was standing still. She's a medalist in her own right, and Kate just went right by A.G. and just is it
Ajay?
Yeah. Sorry, Ajay. But yeah, Kate just showed that she was going to be the class of that field that day. And yeah, it's just a great performance by her, and glad that the past 5 years has paid off for her.
Yeah, I was also impressed by her because I thought she was having a hard time with the trials, because when you run that hot in mid-spring, early summer, between March and May, and even into June, that's a long time to hold that fitness, that peak fitness. And she just ran great at every meet in all conditions, and just kept it going. And hopefully now she'll take a bit of a break, and she's relaxing and gearing up again for the games. But yeah, that was definitely jaw-dropping performance, especially considering how well she's been running all year.
Yeah.
I would say probably Coburn.
Yeah,
Man.
Coburn in that
Coburn,
that steep roll.
freaking good.
She could have just run away from everybody, like she has been running away from everybody.
Yeah.
She could have done that. Instead, she decided, okay, I'm gonna try a new tactic because, maybe they're gonna make it really slow and then throw down a really hard last K, and not only did she do that and accomplish that, like what she had set out to do, but the only time I've ever seen an entire race change in that quick of a time, in that short span of distance, was when McCluffy threw down that last 300 meters in the Olympics.
And all of a sudden the field was like...
That changed the outcome of the race, because you had people going with him, like Suicide, and Silas, and end up getting, 6th?
Yeah,
a
lot of guys fell back, yeah.
And then you had other people that reaped the benefits of those moves. But, it's because a person like that can sort of... I mean, it's kind of insane that Emma can do that to an entire field.
Yeah.
She could have dictated that from the first lap. Instead, she waited till a K to go, and essentially, I don't know what it would have turned into if she would let it from the gun. It probably would have been a different race altogether. And you would have had a bunch of people sitting and kicking for 2 more spots.
Yeah.
But, I think, like I said, you got Stephanie believing that she can stay with you. You got Leah O'Connor thinking she can stay with you until okay to go, and then things just change dramatically. I don't think it's going to have the same effect on an international field, but that was that was a game changer. I mean, the fact that she learned a new skill set.
Yeah.
I didn't know she could do that. But now we know she can do that, so that's another tool that she has with her, that she can finish fast if it's slow. That's impressive. 9:17 or so off of
Yeah.
one hard last K.
Super. All right. Now we'll do our favorite races of the meet, and that would be men and women's. The men's favorite race, I think it may also the same one, but for me, it's definitely that 15. Just men's 15 was just so much drama. You had the guys getting after it, chasing the A standard. You had Central and Blankenship trying to break it up, and you had the race unfolding with, Jordan took it out 58 on pace. Eric kind of slowed down 159 to 59 second quarter. Isaac York slows down at 57 to get it back on pace. Mm-hmm. And all the meanwhile, Blanks and Central are in there trying to mix it up and break up the pack. And just mayhem in the last lap. Seeing Central and Blankenship battle it out. Robbie coming home strong. Just so much action. That was just hands down my favorite race of the meet.
Yeah, that was a great race to watch. I was trying to weigh that between the men's 15 and then the men's steeple. That one also had a lot of action as well. Just people going for it. Mason Furlick trying to go after it. So many guys, and then there's still 5 of them left, like going for the top 3 spots, and with 200 to go. And you see all this carnage over the last barriers. And it was just so wild, so exciting to watch. I had so much adrenaline going through my body just watching these races.
Totally.
So it was definitely, I'd give my lean to the steeplechase because I like how much more chaos it can provide.
Also, just the rounds to qualify too. I remember in one of the semis, there were guys that were like falling for that 3rd spot, like multiple falls in the last few hurdles and water jumps. Definitely a lot of drama in that one. Never fails.
Come on, 1500.
Men's 15, it's just really
the best, the best collective performance from a group I've seen. And Centro is Centro. What are you gonna do? It's fun watching him race. It's fun watching him decimate a 1500 meter field. So, and then watching Robbie realize his dream, and then Ben sort of matter of factly realizing his dream. As he's wont to do, I mean, that's just the Blank's way of doing things, and he's just sort of like, well, I just qualified for more rounds, so more rounds at the Olympics, great. Mm-hmm. Let's just kind of do what we've been doing. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's fun. I've been having a lot of fun watching him race since the World Relays when he ran down the canyon to secure that win in the DMR.
Blanks,
That was probably the funnest thing I'd seen because. I think Vin had gone as the relay coach, Vin Lanana, and he's just running the race essentially on his own because the Kenyan kid went out really hard, and he's kind of looking at Vin, and Vin's just I can picture it, it's just calm down, just relax, and then just maybe I don't know, it's kind of like Phil Jackson when Phil Jackson used to coach the Lakers. He kind of just sit there, and that's like Vin. It's just he's not gonna yell at you. He's not gonna move super frantically. He's just
gonna tell you what to do.
Yeah, in an NCAA cross country race, I could hear him talk, and he would just have to use his normal voice.
Yeah,
and I think Blanks benefited from that at the World Relays, and I feel like he's carried this sort of quiet confidence forward ever since then, maybe even before then, but that. All the culmination of all those things makes for such a good 1500 meter race, and it's like you said, it's the haves and the have-nots. It's the haves versus the have-nots. There's the have-nots with the standard chasing, and then there's the dudes trying to break it up because they already know exactly what's going on. I think Central knew exactly what was going on when J-Mac bumped him out of the way in the first 100 meters and just went for it, and he was like, "No, not you, Isaiah. I can get back there." I thought that was so cool. I mean, it was just that was a fun thing. I didn't get mad. I was like, "Damn, this is racing. Robin's racing. Just race each other."
Yep.
And that was super cool to watch. So for me, on the men's side, that was awesome.
Women's favorite race. I'm gonna say that steeplechase again. Women's steeplechase. Emma again, very impressive performance. Seeing her get out there. And with a K to stick in the pack, I was like, oh my gosh, what is she gonna do? Is she gonna go with a mile to go? Is she gonna go with a K to go? Is it gonna be last lap even? Who knows? What is she gonna do to practice this win? So that was already bringing drama into the race. And then, that whole last few laps where Emma goes for it, Stephanie's hanging on, Colleen and Courtney battling back, just an incredible race. Heart was beating crazy fast after watching that, and amazing performance by those top 4 women, and just incredible performances out there.
Yeah, my favorite race to watch was the women's 5K. Just watching Molly again put on the show, just waiting to see when she
Molly
was
and Emily
and,
back and forth
a
little bit, right? Yeah,
a little bit together. Definitely just working as much as they could. And Emily, I'm sure she was trying to help out Shelby as much as she could. And you can see going into the last lap, Emily and Shelby are running side by side in second and third. Like, these girls are going to do the same thing that they did in the steeplechase, just like clean up that second and third spot. And then Kim Conley and Abby come rolling around.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. I have a definite bias for Kim.
Yeah.
Just seeing her finish third after the trouble she had in the 10K. Coming back, she had to put her shoe on. I don't know, not even halfway through the race. It got a flat tire, and she had to put it back on. She tried to chase the pack down. Wasn't able to, and ended up dropping out. Coming back in the 5K, just, again, resetting, just like Brenda had to do. Just reset and focus on the next race. And to get that third position to go and make the team for Rio, it just was very exciting for me to watch her close it out.
I think the 5K for me. I think it was fun watching Molly sort of just practice that really slow wind up, because they just kept going, like with the pace kept getting faster and faster, and then she just went off in the last lap.
63 last lap.
Yeah.
Just she goes,
and,
man.
I mean, it was fun watching. Like you can tell, I felt like I could tell like 2 miles and like Shelby was gonna make the team.
She looks crazy good.
There is no doubt in my mind,
Yeah.
and her last 100 is really nasty. So I already knew, and then I have a bias for Kim too in the NorCal distance group. Like I like what Drew does with the group. They're really, they're awesome when they come out here, and of course we all developed like some fandom around them.
Absolutely.
And it was fun watching Kim. Like this one, it wasn't a little squeak by. This one was cemented.
Yeah.
She completely changed who she was since 2012. I think she is like a huge force, and she definitely proved it in that race. And it's cool watching, seeing Molly and Emily sort of like just pick the one race and allow somebody else to step up. And I'm glad Abby D'Agostino is the one that gets that chance.
Former NCAA champ, and
and she's really good. I mean, I
Super
think she's kind of recapturing what she had at Dartmouth. But
what did Abby finish in 2012 in the 10K? She was like
10?
top 3, right?
Abby?
Yeah.
In the
At the trials?
Oh, I don't know.
Because she didn't have the standard.
Oh, really? She ran the 10K last?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember.
I thought so.
Yeah.
But
anyways,
that was cool.
Women's
The
5K
cool
was
too.
pretty.
Like, that was just. I've never seen so much elation and heartbreak in one straightaway. That was nuts. That was really nuts.
Definitely. That fall also kind of punctuated it.
Yeah, that was just like, there's you can see the heartbreak right there.
Speaking of heartbreak, NBC's television coverage.
Sucked.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Very frustrating on multiple.
I don't get how like you're sporadically picking fucking picture in picture. Like you pick it so, like it just seems so stupidly random that you're almost like trying to piss everybody off by not showing a distance race. Like
or even the field events too. You know what I mean? If someone's going for a big jump, picture in picture that. I think both camps wouldn't mind make us smaller, make them smaller.
Yeah,
depending on what's happening.
If they're going for a record, if they're going for the meet, like going for first
place, if it's the last
put
lap,
in the big picture. We could see the guys running on the track in the little corner.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Fine.
As long as you can see the moves, that's the big thing, is seeing the moves. And just do not understand at all why I don't do picture in picture more often. They did it. I think once. I think we saw it like 1 or 2 times.
In the last race.
For
the 5K.
In the 5K, men's 5K, but they showed it for like 15 seconds.
Was there a reason why they would show like, for the first night, I think it was the 10,000, that was shown at 6:15, but they were showing it on TV at like 8. Is there a specific reason why they did that, or is it just like
it's their NBC prime time? They want to get the most viewers at 8 p.m.
That's bullshit. You're not gonna get the prime time viewers at 8, dude. They're done watching that shit.
Yeah, it's just get people either show it live or just.
They're gonna change the channel.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I already saw this. You
They
know
have
what I mean?
options.
Well,
Why
the
are
thing
they
is,
gonna want to watch
They
track?
have the news leading into it. They have like news station, news, like there's 3 different news like programs leading into the Olympic trials. Like nobody's gonna be tuning to this station.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
so that was very
They should have
frustrating.
shown that live.
But we know they have. It was always a question of like, do they even have the technology? It's like maybe for the reason at the track meets, maybe the cameras they use are just like kind of like the second rate compared to other sports. I was like maybe the software they have isn't quite as good. I was like maybe that's the reason why, because why else wouldn't they do it? But clearly I think they use picture in picture more for interviews than they did for actually showing the races. You know, it'd be someone being interviewed while something's going on, showing a shot putter's mom.
Yeah, just do better.
Yeah, I'm gonna look in.
Just fucking do better.
I'm thinking about starting one of those. I mean, it's obviously not, but think about making like a little one of those petition.org or change.org petitions where it's like, hey, NBC coverage, it sucks. Please institute these changes, because we're not going to get thousands of people to email.
Right, you're not going to email.
And it's not gonna, and that kind of thing doesn't happen overnight. I say if you just ask for picture in picture, I feel like that solves a lot of problems.
It solves a lot of problems, but we also need. There's a lot of things we can do, but number one for sure is picture in picture. And if I do that, hopefully you guys will sign it. But I think I'm gonna put it out there and say, hey, because here's the thing. What people don't realize is that
it's not. And call you a traitor.
Well, it's not just at the Olympic trials we're gonna see this, or we saw this. We're going to see this at the games. Yeah. Because NBC also owns the rights to the Olympic Games, and they're going to do the exact same thing. And honestly, it's probably going to be even worse if you're going to have all these little extra, like, athlete segments where they show them training and talking to their old high school coach.
Well, and everything's going to be in prime time. So, like, instead of being in the West Coast, as it was for the trials, it's going to be an hour further east than like New York.
I think it's 2 hours for the east. I think it's 5 hours from the West Coast.
Okay, so 5 hours from the West Coast. Yeah. Either way, that means that the event's going to be happening 7 hours before they broadcast in prime time. So the good thing with NBC, the one credit I'll give them is they had that streaming.
Yeah, which everyone I think had amazing things to say about the streaming. Tom Fuhrer is the guy that does the streaming commentary. And he actually did the California State meet commentary back in 2008 on Fox Sports West. And it was incredibly done. I actually emailed him after watching it because I was like, wow, this was done amazing. This is a really well-produced show. They captured everybody's, stories, who they were, while the races were going on, and while calling it. And good coverage is possible. It's out there. Yeah. But for some reason, they're just doing it how it's always been done. So we really need to find a way to take all these good ideas that everyone has, and not even like good or new ideas, just like standard ideas, and get NBC to take notice.
You don't have to look you really don't have to look past like mainstream sports to see that.
Yeah,
too,
exactly.
Like, they all incorporate that kind of thing, like especially with like interviews with a coach or some sort of analyst or whatever. Like you're always like the analyst or whoever you're interviewing is always the smaller square versus the large, like whatever's going on.
Imagine
the event. They don't even need the square, just like talking behind.
Imagine if in the NFL they're about to show a play, and instead of showing the play, it's a big full screen interview of
like Troy Aikman or something.
Yeah, or like Tom Brady being like,
with
I've really been working on this new charity. It means a lot to me. And, just like it's always these random stuff, and I'm. Lots of work on there. I wouldn't say it's so much like random. It's just, it's that, it's so poorly timed. Yeah. Like, I don't. There's so much dead time between events. There's so much time.
Yeah, like there's just I don't know. Not during the fucking 10, man. Like the 10K, something happened. I feel like during the 10K, maybe like a move was made. Maybe Galen made that move, and we didn't really get to watch.
Yeah, that was the thing. Galen made a move, and then we saw Diego catch back up to him, and then they slowed down for 5 seconds, and then they cut away for the next 3 minutes, and we heard through the grapevine on Twitter that Galen made another move. Shadrack went with him. Yeah. Bernard went with him, and so it's just didn't see a thing. Yeah. Came back and everything was strung out. We had no idea what place anybody was.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like that was the hard part. It was like it just looked like mass confusion, and if the announcers don't even know what the hell's going on because they probably weren't paying attention either during that fucking commercial break, then how are they supposed to explain it to the rest of the people that like what's happening? You know, like you could have just it was the race of attrition. Everybody's just dropping like flies.
Yeah, and we can always say like you want to have another camera. Like you got a camera on the top three. You want to have a camera on the chase pack. You want to have a camera on people who are actually moving faster than the rest of the group. I mean, more especially during the 10K. That's when a lot of the moves are happening. That
more info, the better.
Yeah,
basically, you know.
I think a good example of that was I think there was a stream that I had seen in 2011 Zurich in the 5K when Dathan ran 12:56. And part of it was Dathan because he was catching up to everybody, but mostly they were paying attention to Bekele and then the top three, and I think he was in 5th, but he was like closing in on everybody. And I remember like Hutchings and this other guy, they're like, so there seems to be movement in the pack as Dathan Ritzenai is making his way through the field. Like it looks like he might actually chase his area record right now, and then they saw this white dude with the orange Nike kit, and I remember watching the stream. And I didn't know what was happening until they mentioned it, and I started freaking out.
Yeah.
Because I was like, dude, is this dude going to break 13? And then it ended up being such a memorable race for me. I had seen it like 6 or 8 more times after that because of the way they called it.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. I mean, it was just...
Calls can make a race.
Yeah.
Stalinsky's 10K.
Oh,
Flow track.
Yeah.
Ryan Fenton's call.
I just got chills.
Yeah, right? That gives you chills when you watch that
I'm
finish.
not like the biggest fan of how they call stuff, but Fenton is like, I mean, he's had years to refine it, so I think he's
Fenton, Tom Fuhrer, for the new distance commentators, picture-in-picture,
or just invite
change.org, it's going to be a petition.
Invite them to be, like, I don't want to hear Otto Bolden calling a 1,500-meter race or an 800.
They're doing better about that, at least. They are getting better with that, but... They need
Craig,
new
I
blood
think
in there.
Masback does a pretty good job.
He does good job, yeah.
I think he's a good intermediary at the moment, but I feel like, if you got Fenton or any other expert, I think that would also do wonders. It would catch everybody up after the stupid goddamn 3-minute
commercials. Yeah, ridiculous. All right, so NBC again, petition. I'm going to put it out there. We'll see what we can do. Next up is... if you talk about the advancements, the DQs, physical contact.
I mean, the whole process is just eerie. I mean, we saw so many people being advanced because of falls or because of contact to the next round, and it made the 1,500 round larger, made the 800s have to run in waterfalls rather than in lanes.
Yeah.
It affects the
race.
race.
Which I think affected Sawinski for sure. If you watch the 800-meter race, Sawinski got out super hard because he's on the outside of the waterfall.
Yeah.
And didn't want to get stuck behind people.
Well, it affected Boris, too, because he's usually out from the gun, but he was kind of blocked in.
I think he wanted to, though.
Maybe.
I think he wanted to chill more, but regardless.
He lost to Clayton.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. But, it's just... There's an issue there. I've been saying for a long time we need to have a better grasp on what is legal and not legal when it comes to physical contact. What constitutes a DQ. I personally believe that if you're going to advance somebody... that means someone should be DQ'd.
Yeah.
Because that means somebody fouled you and prevented you from making it. So you should
if it was incidental contact, that means you probably fell on your own accord.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's just one of those things to change for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think
there's always be racing,
the waterfall star was kind of absurd.
Yeah.
And, I understand why Sawinski would be upset, but at the same time, watch the women's 800. That turned into chaos, and they didn't start with the waterfall start. They had a normal start.
Yeah,
that happens at any point. You can't say what would have happened if you didn't have the waterfall start.
Yeah,
well, that just leads us into what David's saying was what's illegal contact? How close are you? Should you be able to run? When can you move out in the box? We saw so many people even in the men's 15 and the women's 15, they were just moving around so much, just jostling and trying to get out of these boxes when there's not enough room. In reality.
Yeah, so it needs to be refined for sure. But besides the 800, women's 800, luckily there wasn't anything that really, affected the outcome of the race to a large degree.
And you can't predict what would happen.
Yeah.
You can make your best guess, and that'll always be completely subjective. But, in terms of that sort of, the advancements and disqualifications, it's interesting. I feel like when you have rounds where not that many people are going to get cut, I think that changes your line of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Not only to the point of, not only like the line of thinking like, oh well, I only have to just beat 2 guys in this heat, and then it should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because shit like that happens,
Yeah.
where everybody's going to run super slow, and then all of a sudden all this jostling happens because you're only supposed to beat 2 guys. Like, how
Yeah.
embarrassing would it be if you were one of the 2 guys that
Yeah.
got beat? So you start panicking and make these stupid ass moves, and then you like ruin it for pretty much everybody else.
Yeah.
And then you get advanced because you fell and
Yeah.
petitioned, and now everybody gets to petition all the time, and everybody
Yeah.
fucking gets inside in the semis or in the final, and then you have to do a stupid ass waterfall start, and then some other person's crying because it's like, oh, I would have made the team if it wasn't waterfall.
Yeah.
Like, it just, I don't know. I feel like maybe you almost shouldn't even advance people.
Even
like,
if they get fouled.
If they get fouled, it sucks. It does suck. But I feel like you kind of need to pick one or the other.
All right.
I feel like you'd have to pick one or the other. You can't quite have both, because then if that was, then that's what happened when, didn't J-Mac get DQ'd and then reinstated, but
Yeah.
it's like,
Greg
well, we
got
already
let in.
told Johnny that he
Yeah.
was going to get in, so I guess we'll just leave him.
That was kind of like that lacked a little bit of common sense there, I think, for
Well,
sure.
it's like, if you're going to make a decision, fucking stick to it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
don't be like, they're wishy-washy. That's why like I can't respect this governing body, because
Yeah.
they're so full of shit sometimes.
Yeah,
Like,
the officials. Maybe the officials need to be. Again, I think the officials are not on the same page as the rules.
They just need to have a
and
hard
the
line of
athletes.
rules.
Yeah,
And everything.
yeah, exactly. But all that being said, all that being said about the trials, its bads, its goods. I will say that I think this is the best system. We're talking about the UK trials,
super fair.
the Canadian trials.
Most of the time, you pick your very best team, and if you look at our sprints or even our middle distances, any one of those guys and girls can perform super well and win a medal.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at it, like you said, like Britain, Canada, they have more of a selection process, even though they have trials, and it's pretty arbitrary, or they want you to be ranked so high up that it's like you would have to win their trials in order to make their team.
Yeah, and so I can't imagine if we had a selection procedure in the U.S.
Yeah.
People would be losing their minds over that 3rd spot. You know what I mean?
You can see it, like, Let's Run has their, pick your top 3. Like, there's so many biases. There's so many people who pick the wrong athletes that don't win the trials.
well, how many people would have picked Donovan Brazier? He didn't make it. He didn't make it past the first round in the national championships.
Yeah,
Imagine if he went over to Rio de Janeiro, where everybody's just gonna rough him up in the 800 meters. Like, he would have fallen. He would have bitten it.
Yeah.
And
would have fallen, and they don't care about petitions over there.
no, they're just like, take that piece of paper and go to the trash can with that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
no, I agree. I think even with all its faults, it's the fairest system because it's not completely subject to human fallacy.
there still is a little bit, yeah.
There's a bit, yeah. Like I said, there's things that need to get cleaned up. Like, why are you going to allow an entire field, or you're going to assemble a field of 800-meter runners or 1,500-meter runners where an entire field can advance to a semifinal? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that if you look at that list of Olympians, that is the best field that we probably could have sent.
Best team, yeah.
That's the best team. That looks like the best team we could have done.
Absolutely.
CJ in there, Ben Blankenship, Cabral, you pick the best. Those are hands down for me. That's the best team when I look at it. It looks very clean.
In
it looks
those
like
racing
all the spots were
conditions,
earned.
where it's going to be physical at the Olympics. It's going to be warm. These guys are going to have to endure so many different factors that they didn't even see yet at the trials, and these athletes are the ones that endured it the best.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I mean, like I said, it's those, especially in the 10,000, those are the best. Those are the conditions that are that's probably what it's going to be like in Rio.
Yeah.
And you need a team that's ready to go. That's ready to handle those conditions.
The only team would be the women's 800, where it's still debatable to me whether Krishna would have made it onto that team, and then you could either put Brenda, Molly. But at the same time, it does open up the opportunity. Krishna is just out of college. She's young. She has a lot more years to advance. This might be a great stepping stone for her.
Well, especially because you run rounds at the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
How many favorites go through the Olympic Games that don't end up making it?
Yeah.
That's just how it goes. I mean, that we essentially we essentially mimic the Olympic Games.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? And it's not a selection committee. Like, I think some British 800 girl got left off the team and she ran the standard 8 or 6 times. And she was third at her trials, and they're like, no, we're not going to take you.
It's
no, we're just going to leave the spot empty.
Their arbitrary reasoning is she's ranked in the top 45, so she, by right, should be able to go, but because Britain doesn't want to send her, she doesn't get to go, so somebody else that's run slower than her gets to go, is now in. And they would have sent her if she was ranked in the top 22 in the world.
Yeah,
but that's such a random.
And the way people get to top 22 is experiencing the Olympics.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
experiencing the Olympics, running faster. I mean, same thing happened. I'm not sure what's going on with Cam Levins, but like he was left off Canada's team.
He got left off the team. Yeah,
like both 5K and 10K, and he's one of their best athletes ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, shocking stuff.
It's a shame. I mean, but that's why. And like I said, it's like that's why you run these races, right? Like, you know, you probably would have picked Dwayne would have been a favorite in the 800. Donovan, you would have probably favored for a medal. Mm-hmm. And neither of them even made it past the first round.
Yeah,
they couldn't run whatever it was, 147 something.
Yeah.
You know, and like that's what happens. Like you base it off of your own biases. You base it off your own subjective. You base it on the subjective and you call it objective. Like it's crazy. I mean, there's nothing. The only sure thing in that stuff is human mistakes, and some athletes suffer from it. Some athletes rise to the occasion, which is cool, but these athletes actually rise to the occasion. You don't have to wonder whether they're going to in Rio. You test them here and determine as to whether they're made for it. And like I said, I look at that list, and that's a good distance squad on both sides. That's a really good distance squad on both sides.
It's a nice segue into the athletes we're most excited to watch at the Olympic Games.
Exactly. So who basically we think? Let's go men and women. Men first again. I'm most excited about Robbie Andrews. I know Centro is looking great. I know Centro is cream of the crop right now, but Robbie just has a new presence about him. I remember last year doing the 15 for the first time, he was unsure of himself. He was kind of like, well, I guess I'm going to try this out. Like, I hope this works. Mm-hmm. And surprised himself at how well he did. And now I think he knows he belongs. I think he knows this is his event. And that's scary, you know, like, and the confidence he gets from these trials leading into the games. I mean, I think he has a better last 100 than Centro. Just maybe not quite as good positioning as Centro.
Yeah.
So if Robbie can figure that out, he is scary.
Yeah, watching these games, watching Robbie, like I commented during his race, he was in 5th at the Bell Lap. That's the highest I'd ever seen him in a race with a lot to go.
That's right.
And like he closed almost as well as Centro in terms of like the last lap split, but he just had that little bit of a gap going into the last lap. So if he, like you said, can figure that out, he's going to be a huge threat. I mean, Matt's got World Championship medals. Robbie can probably get a medal as well. Same with Ben. But I'm actually more excited to watch the steeple, see how Evan mixes up with the Kenyans.
Yeah,
in the
definitely.
I think he's got a really good shot. I mean, he's run 8 flat with falling.
Should have been sub 8. Yep.
He's going to be a huge threat going to come to those games, and as long as everything plays in his favor, obviously.
We might see the first non-Kenyan medal ever in the steeplechase. So absolutely.
Because I'm going to go slightly off topic, only because Eric Finan brought up a couple. One good race that I actually had thought about, and I only read about it this morning, which I didn't know. A fun little tidbit about the women's hurdles, the women's
110s,
the 100 hurdles.
Yeah.
So the 3 favorites, the 3 that were favored to make the team, that were all ranked in the world, none of them made it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're sending an entirely brand new squad.
The American record holder didn't make it, Queen Harrison. Mm-hmm. So
none of them. They're very, very unhappy right now. But at the same time, dude, isn't that why we do this? Isn't that why we do this?
Exactly.
You know, like it reiterates like this is a hard team to make. First off, but number 2, this is why the trials are fucking cool. Like they're super awesome because they mimic the rounds at the Olympics. They, you know, it's just that you can't. You know, I think everybody would have picked those 3.
Yeah.
And everybody would have been dead wrong. Like,
I mean,
and that's a disservice. That would be a disservice to all the other to everybody else in the field.
Huge argument for the trials with these 3 girls that made the team. Like, the U.S. has the best athletes in both 110s and the 100 hurdles. They continuously, like, the men had like 4 different world record holders and medalists in 4 years.
I mean, the American record seems to change like every 2 years.
Yeah.
And then you got Devin Allen, who's kind of knocking on the door. He's already run 13:04.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane. Our sprints are insane.
I mean, I would argue the 100 hurdles, I would have picked Brianna Rollins, despite not being as fast on paper, but she was the previous record holder, I believe.
I feel like she might have been, yeah. I mean, she was a multi-time NCAA champ.
So she might not have had the fastest time going into the trials this time around, but she won the trials.
Yeah, she has been good before. Yeah. Eric just said that the 100 hurdles had 6 of the 8 fastest women in the world. Mm-hmm. So the top 6 women in the world, basically, or 6 of the 8.
Yeah,
that might be the strongest event in our Olympic Games. So I'm almost kind of just excited to watch them because we're going to have 3 new
new players,
3 new medalists most likely, or I mean, pretty likely. So, but I think so. Going back to
your
what I'm
to watch.
most excited. Okay, I'm just gonna put Senator to the side because you already know that answer. I think outside of that, for me, I think will be Clayton Murphy, Hassan. It's a tie between Clayton Murphy, Hassan, and Jaeger. I want to see if Jaeger deserves a medal at this point. The guy's an 8 flat guy. Clayton, because that last 100 is pretty devastating, and if he positions himself pretty well, I can see him getting a medal. Honestly, I can definitely see him because you don't quite have Rudisha anymore to. I don't know, just because it hasn't been himself, so he's not going to break the race wide open.
Yeah.
I don't know that like anybody else in the world right now, like has wheels like that, like in the 800.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen it, but I'm also not super knowledgeable of the 800. Central, of course, because he's a gold medal contender. Robbie, he might as well be a medal contender, honestly. If he positions himself very well, he's got a better last 100 than Clayton does, so he can make the rest of the world look like they're standing still.
Exactly.
Jaeger, like I said, deserves a medal. Hassan, for me, is like a dark horse. I think he's going to make the final. I'm almost positive. I'm willing to bet money he's going to make the final. But he's already run 13:04 this year.
Yep.
He's one of the only I think he's the only one of the only Americans this year who's running a 13:10.
Mhm. I think he's the only one.
Yeah. I mean, this guy, like, coming back from a collapsed lung and made the team last year in the 10K. Crushed the field early on in the year at Oxy in a 1500. Obviously has the wheels in a 5K. And he's got grit about him now. He's got this grit that I hadn't seen in such a long time. The guy's just really tough, and that's also huge bias, but I don't care. It's just, I mean, it's not. I'm kind of saying it matter of factly because he's just fucking good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
13:04 guy. You can't. It's a 13:04 guy. I don't know why you would overlook that.
Totally agree. Hassan is definitely, and also coming up from the 10K to the 5K. So I mean, who knows?
He was pissed
when he's
I
fresh.
think I heard like when he pulled off of the 10,000 because he or whatever, he just like threw his glasses down and smashed his glasses. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. So excited to see what a fresh Hassan could do for sure. For the women, I'm really pumped to see. Okay, I'll say it again. Molly Huddle, man. What is she gonna do? I think she's a gold medal contender, for sure. She needs to have that confidence. She has the wheels. She has the strength. Sky's the limit for Molly. So, pumped to see her race out there, and can't wait to see what happens.
I'm excited to see actually the duel between Jenny and Shannon. We haven't talked about it at all.
That's right.
But like them going back and forth, like they have this rivalry. I'm sure they love each other, but like they have this rivalry.
Not
when
really.
it comes to racing.
It's a really true rivalry.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
But they definitely go head to head, and they're the 2 best 1500 meter women we've ever had. Number 1 and 2 on the all-time list for the U.S. American record, and could arguably be the best in the world, depending on what's going on with everybody else's nation's doping systems.
Yeah. I didn't say it this time. I didn't say that.
Just for them, facts are facts. I mean, are we like one of the only countries that will I mean, with the exception of the sprints for whatever reason, but we're like one of the only countries where you're essentially like a social outcast if you're found to be a cheater. You're like essentially excommunicated from the world.
Regina Jacobs is like completely.
I've
respected.
never watched her race. I don't know really anything about her, and I think she's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like I don't know. It's just it is interesting. Like everybody can have whatever reservations they want. I can't quite say very much, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just a fact. Some countries
are not
can't
as
afford it,
stringent. Yeah.
so they just get away with it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see what happens. What
this
what
summer.
some of our people get ranked in terms of the distances after all that shit comes out. So.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's definitely, we have some known convicted dopers on our squad as well.
Yep, Tyson Gates and Gatlin.
It's definitely unfortunate that the U.S. kind of overlooks some of those offenses as well. But at the same time, like, it's what the sport is right now, and the more we bring attention to it, the more hopefully it can be corrected in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be overnight.
No,
honestly,
it might be 20 years before it's
who knows? Like,
clean.
it could be like this generation, the next, like, 10 years of this next generations of high schoolers, and they're like,
tell you what,
cheating.
When the Olympics go to Tokyo in 2020, they're going to clean everybody up over there.
Yeah, I hope
they're
so.
strict as hell in Tokyo.
I hope so. Yeah.
For me, it would be Shelby.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yep. I think she can make the final. There's rounds in the 5.
Yeah,
I think she can make the
round.
final for sure. I think she could at least end up being ranked top 10 in the world.
Awesome.
I absolutely believe
another
that.
race that we actually also
She's so
overlooked
new to that event
that I think we can get a medal in is the women's marathon. Every single one of those girls could get a medal.
That's right.
Amy, Shalane, and Desi, they are all
So
strong.
good.
They run well in the heat. They've finished top 2, 3, 4 at major championships. So I think they have a good shot. They're going to work together. I know Shalane and Amy are definitely going to work together.
Mm-hmm.
Desi will probably tag along as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they'll.
That's true. That's
tear
one
it
of
up.
the strongest.
Yeah.
That's one of the strongest distance teams we have.
That's our strongest women's marathon team we've ever seen, in my opinion. Yeah.
And one more honorable mention: a fresh Brenda Martinez in the 15. That's gonna be exciting. You know,
only 3 rounds. This
only
time.
3 rounds to 6. So that about wraps it up, everybody. Thank you so much for commentary. Watch here in like 5 minutes. Yeah, we'll see you guys later. And comment if you have any ideas for future stuff.
Yeah.
And
tell us what other petitions you want David to write.
Yeah, exactly. That so the NBC one is absolutely happening. So look out for that. All right, guys, take care, and thanks for watching.